Energy2020. Answers to the questions. A new era begins with investors to do not need to work with outstretched hands with the innovator and entrepreneurs. You can simply make your website clearly explain what you're offering, and accordingly people can make investments. Investing in the expectation that this technology will bring profit to its investors, and accordingly our project will benefit the planet. When people lived in tribes, they had leaders. Later they rose into the community, these communities and leaders, and the leaders ruled and directed everyone. Then the kings appeared, everyone went with the bow to the kings. The tax that the king declared that everyone should pay, everyone paid well, and later accordingly left. The kings and queens passed on to the leaders of the society we are electing, and now they must act in our interests, and if they do not, then accordingly we do not vote for them. But friends, they still live in a market economy that takes advantage of the fact that it's not so easy to re-elect them, because as a rule an ordinary person does not have the resources to stand for his candidacy, and he is a big business, respectively uses the fact that it has direct access. The leadership of the state uses the funds of this business itself. It turns out that there is such a vicious circle. Today new opportunities are emerging that even though 95% of the world's population does not have resources, they have bright heads, so they are interested in innovative projects for which you can obtain a patent for an invention and attract financial resources through grant investment. That is when any person with even a small income can invest from 100 Russian rubles a day with the hope that he will someday become the owner of a large company with good income. We are now at the very beginning, literally on the fingers you can count worthy crowd investment projects. Well friends, one of these projects is Energy project Energy2020, a building that is capable of generating enough electric energy for its own needs to fully supply electric energy. The principle, I think, is familiar to most here, and now we turn to questions. Question: how to invest to your development? Friends, we have a referral system. What is a referral system? The fact that we just pay people for advertising our project. How does this happen? If you purchase the shares, then you have a referral link in your account, and you can recommend your friends. You can post or hold a special meeting with someone on the social network, or even go further in the territory of another country and withdraw outside on your area, cities, and accordingly she can walk around the planet. That is how the more people learn about the project, the more intelligibility you tell, the more intelligibility our site tells about it, or it myself at such a video conference, the more we can attract money and resources. Well, here probably the question is how much money should be attracted. Here are the friends, you need to understand that it is possible to even build a fully functional building that can be operated 30 meters high using these raised funds. As practice shows, such projects are possible, that is funds allow. But now it's too early for our project to talk about this, because I have already said it's now necessary to solve IT issues so that the site is understandable, convenient in different languages, that it was attended by payment systems. It's not that simple, friends. It's not very simple. Today, about 28 million Russian rubles have already been raised, some of which we paid 40% for advertising our project, for advertising through this referral system. That is, when someone's advertising was effective and it was useful, and at the same time person receives a reward for his work. Also, a new profession is already emerging. This is manager of round of investment projects. This is the person who studies the projects. In this portfolio appears a grand investor. He comes to some kind of team, puts them on the table, shows, tells and attracts investments of such a venture business. In the USA, this practice has long existed, but before it was full-time, and now that the internet has appeared, you can already do it absolutely via the internet. Well, what are we actually doing today? How to invest in to this development? Any shareholder has a referral link. Ask him for his link. You will have the opportunity to register in your personal account there. You can make the first payment from as little as 3,000 Russian rubles. If you take a minimum package, this is 30,000 rubles if you take installment plan for 10 months. Question: do you choose the right strategy for the development of the company? At least you need your own design bureau and chief installation beneath the wing. Okay, the production and manufacture of power plants, let it be done on the site. But should there be a construction of the office? I agree, but today we cannot afford it, and it's too early to do so, because it's necessary to design it already for the customer, or the construction of a building in our industrial park. We will overcome the stages of patenting and visiting foreign exhibitions, and most importantly of Expo 2020. At the moment we are working on improving the layout. The result will be a video where you can see how these flows are concentrated. The aerodynamic shield directs them to circumference of the wind farm. That is, we will show you a freestanding wind farm, and we can replace the speed of its rotation, and the wind farm mounted between the horses. It will be between the houses. It will be in mid-October. Question: the referral system is somehow not serious. What do you not attract large investors who can immediately invest tons of millions of Russian rubles? Why this whole referral? Very similar to a typical scam project. Of the project is so promising. Have you found funding for a long time? Our investors once became interested in Euroset company. Once our investors became interested in the company Magnet, but probably a dozen more examples can be given when serious investors are interested in companies. In reality, I see this: planted a tree and take care of it, protect it, prove it, and only then gives profit. And then planted a tree and let's force it, pull out half of the strange from it, and at the end, what will grow, if anything grows at all? Look, in order to grow a tree, the necessary resources needed, that is, in invention, is like a grain in the hands, but there is no soil and water, no sun and no heat. Now can you grow this very seed if you do not attract investments today? One option is to find and give this seed to someone who has large fields and resources. As we already said, these are some rich companies, access to which is included. Therefore, I suggest that you nevertheless consider all of the above at the beginning of the broadcast. I also talked about this. Think the above. Maybe you will change your mind of this. I am not building a small business. I am building a business that competitors cannot enter, and a business that will be interesting for large companies and corporations. It's necessary to build a business that competitors cannot understand and copy. Question: tell us about the Technoprom, about the presentations in Russian cities of Kazan and Moscow. We had a meeting. We already have a film about this on VK and Instagram social network, and the Technoprom. Soon it will have a film too. Technoprom is unlikely that our clients can be there, but this is a very useful platform in order to get contracts, to get acquainted with experts, exchange information with them, and accordingly monitor how people react to this device. What questions are asked and prepared for a more serious exhibition, which will be held in Dubai in 2020. Question: where is guarantee that the company will not go bankrupt? Friends, guarantee here 100%, because we do not work with money taken on credit. We only work with borrowed funds. We don't buy any equipment by installments, that is, we don't have any debt obligations, only if there are some current amounts. But we don't accumulate debts on credit, so our company will not go bankrupt. Patents are valid until 2038. Question: when is planned to translate the site into Chinese? We do not translate the site into Chinese yet, because I want to bring the to perfection so the people can quickly understand it. In January we will update the name of the company, and we'll already start with Chinese, Mongolian, Arabic, and all languages that you can imagine. Question: can you first build a skyscraper on the capital of any country and lease it 50 to 50 investors, 50% for the further development of the project? For this you need to arrive, get acquainted with the conditions of the building, acquire a land plot, acquire communications with land plot, but we can't take water from the air. Therefore water and sewerage, at least what should be brought to this site. Only these questions can take a considerable period of time. Among other things, in order to talk with someone, the question will be asked if you have the resources to build up the land plot at all. For this we now do not need. Question: how did you come up with this idea and personally this invention of yours? Yes, of course, this invention is personally mine. I'm the only author, the patent holder of this technology, and this did not happen quickly. This understanding that these buildings can supply investments, can supply themselves with electrical energy, probably came to me in a year like this in 2016-2017. I realized that they can be like that. I began to wonder how to get a patent, what needs to be done for this, what resources are needed for this. I already understood that in China there is a whole institute that analyzes all issued patents around the world and relinks these patents and begin to use these inventions, changing some simple things. I understood that the most important thing here is to protect ourselves from our colleagues from China, who are not even stupid people, and was necessary to think over patients carefully. I made the formula for exactly a year, and soon as I realized that it is reinforced concrete, that now I can hardly get around me. Our story is very similar to the story with a stool, when you invented a stool and wrote the batch formula correctly. This device cannot be circumvented. It will retain the monopoly for the entire term of the patent. How this idea came to me, and I will tell the next broadcasts.